All right, guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about one of the most common questions I get and I see online from new and prospective junk removal business owners. And that is, how do I actually get customers? You can have an amazing truck. You can have an amazing truck wrap and great business cards and a great website, great outfit. But if the phone isn't ringing, none of that really matters. So in this video, I'm going to share the exact strategies that we used, starting with a single truck and trailer into a multi-million dollar operation. Okay, so how to get your first 100 customers. So what you're going to learn today is the free lead generation methods, the referral partnerships that will pay for years. We are 8.5 years in. We still have business, some recurring from relationships that we cultivated our very first year. So if you do it right, these are going to be long-term relationships to where if your Google ads aren't performing so great one day, your LSAs aren't performing so great, you can count on these repeat and referral businesses and jobs still coming in. We're going to talk about reviews that drive real sales. We're going to talk about paid advertising, but done right. That is the secret. And then I'm going to get into my recommended 90-day plan. So the biggest mistake that new owners make is they obsess over these things: the truck and equipment, the logo, the business cards, a perfect website. Those are all important. Don't get me wrong. But what really matters is the phone ringing. And how do we make sure the phone is ringing? Well, we need to get customers. So what really matters is getting customers. It is building reviews. It's creating referral sources, and it's answering the phone and answering the phone the right way. I can't wait to make that video. Okay, so let's first talk about free leads. There are 3 ways to land paying customers without spending a dime. You can post completely free on Facebook, on Nextdoor, Facebook groups. So that's what I would be looking at if I was just starting off from scratch for the first 90 days. Okay, let's talk about your Google business profile. If there was one thing that I could really emphasize that is going to produce the greatest yield by far for free, it's your Google business profile. It is not a Facebook page. A Facebook page is good, yes, but it is not going to yield anything close to what you can get with your Google business profile. Let me tell you why. I want you to think logically. If you were looking for an electrician, if you were looking for the best pizza place, if you were looking for your local hardware store, how many of you are going to go to Facebook to search for those things? We all go to Google to search. So it shows up on Google Maps for near me searches. That is critical because most people are going to type in junk removal near me, couch removal near me, best junk removal company near me. So you want those near me searches. And that's just one example. But it also builds instant trust with new customers. But one of the ways you're going to build trust is you want to upload new photos on a regular basis. If you can post it daily, which you can, make the time, get into a better rhythm, a better routine, everything should be systematized. Everything should be very process oriented because that's how you're going to grow your business. You're going to grow your business based on processes and great workflows, great systems, great people. Not going to be, I'm going to muscle my way into the top of my local market. Not going to happen. You're going to be going up against major competitors and they know what they're doing and they've got big budgets. So you're not going to outspend those guys. You're going to have to outthink them. You're going to have great practices, great habits. So I would encourage you to upload new photos every day, especially when you first get started, because again, you're trying to build your brand. So if you don't have photos and you're first starting, go do some free jobs. I mean, literally call friends and family, say, hey, I'm just starting my junk removal company and I need some photos of me doing actual work. So lucky you. I know that old rusty grill you've got in your garage. I know you've got an old couch. Can I come and get that for you? I'm not going to charge you a dime. If you don't have photos, that's okay. At least add a post on there that you're in the area. Be very specific. Hey, just finished up a job in Atlanta, and then be specific. What part of Atlanta? Are you in Buckhead? Whatever the area is, make sure that you put that specific neighborhood and say what the job was. Just finished a garage clean out or an estate clean out in this neighborhood, and ask the customer to do the same. The customer, for bonus points, if the customer say just finished up with Junk Raider, they did an outstanding job cleaning out my garage. They got rid of all the extra furniture. Google is looking for those different words because they want to match up what a person is searching with what's in your Google business profile. So that kind of specificity is what you're looking for. And remember to ask every single customer for a review every single time. Make that just part of your workflow. At the end of the job, when you get there, hey, listen, if we did a great job, we would appreciate a 5-star review. In fact, I'd be happy to give you 5% off if we can get that 5-star review from you. And if not, tell me if there's something we could have done to improve upon our performance. But always ask for that review. And even if you feel like things didn't go as good as they should have, sometimes you get that grumpy customer that no matter what you do, they just seem like they're eating nails. I get it, but you still want to always give them your best. And at the end of that transaction is when you want to say, hey, listen, it was a pleasure working for you today. I hope we did a great job for you. If there's anything I can do before we leave, let me know because we live for those 5-star reviews. So if there's anything you need me to do before I head out of here, please let me know. Okay, continuing in the vein of free, Facebook Marketplace is a treasure trove. My partner Davis has really mastered this technique. Very, very smart. This is a great technique, and I guarantee you this is underutilized. I don't see anyone talking about this. The strategy is you go into Facebook Marketplace and search for these things. Search for people that are doing a moving sale, an estate sale, a garage sale that have free items that are doing curb alerts. How about this? Pianos, hot tubs, an old safe, a big armoire, old TVs. People that have these big, heavy items, guys, you know this by now, most likely. You can't give that stuff away. So at some point, they're going to either have to rent a U-Haul, they're going to have to call a buddy, call their uncle, call their brother, have them come over with their pickup truck. Now it's their time, it's their health, potentially hurting themselves doing this. They don't have a lift gate, they don't have a dump truck. So if you position it right, it really is a value add to that person. So let me give you an example. Moving sale. I would say something as simple as this. Hey, I noticed you're having a moving sale this weekend. Awesome. Great luck. Wish you all the best. However, if you have anything left over that you can't move, my company would be happy to come in there and take care of that for you. My name is Ted. I run a junk removal business called Junk Raider, and we specialize in removing household, commercial items, whatever you need. The price is simply based on volume slash weight. So let me know if you need any help. It's a free estimate. There's no harm, no foul if you decide not to go with us. There's no sales pitch, no pressure. Say whatever feels comfortable to you, but this is a no brainer. Davis has had tremendous success. All of our guys have had success using this technique right here. You don't have to be this super aggressive salesperson. You're just saying, hey, I noticed you've got this piano. You've had it listed for a couple of months. And if you need help getting rid of that, I have a company that we will come in there, remove that for you. Don't have to worry about a thing. All right. We're fully insured. Hopefully you're fully insured. We're fully insured. We do a great job. We've got our Google business profile. You can check us out there. You can see our website. We've got great reviews from customers. So that is an easy, easy win of how you can get free jobs. You'd be surprised how many people will come back to you, especially with these big items, hot tubs, pianos, those old armoires that no one uses anymore, big heavy TVs, estate sales, moving sales, they have stuff left over. They need it gone. So great opportunity here. All right. Join Facebook groups. Guys, if you haven't done this already, do it ASAP. Join in your city and neighborhood, but also you do want to join the broader Facebook group specifically for junk removal and or home services. I'll give you a great example. Davis and I follow a guy named Tommy Mello who is in the home services category. Tommy does a phenomenal job. Tommy with A1 Garage, if you haven't checked him out, you should because he built his business from, I think they were hovering around maybe $1 million or so. Hope I'm not butchering this. I believe at last count, they were, a $250 million business. So there are some incredible Facebook groups out there where you can glean so much great information, so much knowledge. So join the local groups because when someone gets on there and says, hey, does anyone have a recommendation for a local junk removal business? You want people that are advocating for you. But again, then the bigger groups that are out there, you want to join those so you can just pick the brains of guys and girls that own or in the junk removal space. They can answer questions. They can be a resource for free that you otherwise would struggle your way through. So make sure you're doing that. Don't spam them. Here's my 3 quick tips. Do not spam them. Don't drop your number every time you go in there on your local groups or even the broader groups. If you maybe do marketing on the side, that's great, but make sure you're adding value before you start asking for anything. If you're that good, people will notice, the word will spread, but don't spam people. And number 2, make sure you're providing value, as I mentioned a second ago. Answer questions, give guidance. Guys, do it for free. Do it because that's what you want, right? I fully believe in just giving back and investing in others, and I believe it does come back to you. And like I mentioned before, become known locally. Be the name that people mention when they talk about junk removal. Okay, relationships and reputation. Let's turn a trickle of leads into a steady, repeatable stream. How do we do that? Let's get with realtors and brokers. Clearing out listings before they hit the market is huge. So find every realtor, every broker in your area, call them, Go in there and knock on that door, bring them some donuts, network, make great relationships there. Same thing with property managers. Any kind of property manager, whether it's Airbnb properties in your area, could be homes, it could be entire neighborhoods and HOA, but make relationships with those property managers in your area. And lastly, is contractors. Go to all the local contractors, call them, go visit them, send them an email. I would say do all of the above and try to build those relationships because those contractors are always going to have business for you, whether it's, hey, I just demoed a deck or someone's shed or their back porch. I need all this stuff hauled away. You may get into other lines of service besides just junk removal. Could be hauling, could be demolition, could be grading. Contractors are a great resource. Okay, reviews equal revenue. What do I mean? 10 reviews. When you get to the 10, if you're, remember, this is mainly for someone just starting off or thinking about starting off. When you get to your first 10 reviews, it's going to feel great. And now you're at least a legitimate business. When you get to 100, now they think you're established. You've probably been around at least a year or two, right? You're not a startup. When you get to 500 or more, you are a dominant presence. Most likely, you're probably going to be in the top 10. Whatever you do, you're in the top 10 when you get to 500 or more reviews. 1,000 plus, you're untouchable. You are now one of the elite providers of that service in your area. So that's your goal. You want more trust, which leads to more calls, better rankings, and higher close rates. Okay, now let's talk about paid leads. When the free channels are humming, then you pour gas in the fire. I say that because oftentimes people come in here and I've heard people say, this is a pay to play space. I just came in and started spending money on Google ads. If you've got deep pockets and you come in here and you've got 50 to 100K, you're not a franchise, you're just starting your own operation. You could start off with paid ads. Would I do that? Probably. Yeah. If I had the budget, I would start off with whether it's Google ads, LSAs, probably LSAs, but I would certainly start with some kind of paid mechanism because it also boosts your credibility. You absolutely could and should start with paid ads. What kind of paid ads is the question? I think for junk removal, like my market is so competitive, I wouldn't start off with Facebook ads. I would start off with either Google ads or LSAs. Facebook is great because it's pushing, it's getting your name out there, but it's not pulling. People aren't going there looking for your business or looking for that service. So I would again start with free channels, in particular for those of you out there that are just starting that don't have a big budget. But if you've got money that you can spend, I would absolutely look at Google ads and LSAs. Okay. Now, let's look at LSAs for a second here. Why do I like LSAs so much? Well, number one, because it's Google guaranteed. That means at the very top of the page, it's going to show that this is a Google guaranteed business and or company. All right. Then I like it because it's pay per lead. Whereas Google ads, you're getting charged no matter what. You're getting charged for the impressions, for the clicks. Whereas with Google LSAs, it's pay per lead. You're charged just for the real lead, not just clicks, but for the real lead itself. I also love that it's fast. I can turn those on or off at any given point and it doesn't obliterate the learnings. It doesn't start everything over. So with Google ads, it's very sensitive. If you go in there and just start making all these wholesale changes, it is going to reset the learnings because the algorithm is going, oh, well, man, we're basically starting over. So now let's look for all those other signals that are out there that were established. We've got to look for them all over again. And then lastly, what you have to watch out for is the lead quality does vary. You have to track which leads book and dispute the junk, meaning you have to go into your LSA account and you have to say, this was a good lead, this was a bad lead. Otherwise, it doesn't know. And Google's just going to send you whatever it wants to send you. Okay, the difference with Google ads, you get higher intent buyers. So people that are searching for junk removal right now are going to see those Google ads. You're going to get those calls. But again, you don't exactly know. It's also scalable. You can turn that budget up or down on demand. Now, that is true, but keep in mind, if you increase that budget significantly, let's say more than 50%, that is going to potentially reset the learnings. You have to be careful. I want to say the rule is like 20 to 30% max. You can increase or decrease the budget without it resetting the learnings. You still have to be careful there. The consistent flow, it's a predictable pipeline of new calls. If you get your Google ads dialed in, it absolutely can be your most consistent channel in terms of lead flow. What do you want to watch out for? It can be expensive. You need to dial in the targeting before you scale the spend. What does that mean? It means before you just go in there and say, I'm going to start spending $500 a day, make sure you really understand what that campaign is going to be bringing you. If it's focused on garage cleanouts only, is it focused on all things junk removal? Is it focused on only dumpster pad cleanouts? Whatever it is, make sure you dial that thing in, dial in that campaign before you throw an insane amount of budget. I would start smaller. I would start usually around $1,500 a month is my minimum budget for a campaign. Otherwise, you're really not getting enough data to make good decisions. So let's talk about the 90-day plan. Exactly what I would do in this order if I were starting from zero today. Okay, month one, I would build a foundation. I would create my Google business profile, collect reviews, post photos, join Facebook groups. Month two, build relationships. Realtors, property managers, contractors become their go to junk removal provider. Month three, I would pour on the fuel at this point. I would layer in local service ads, Google ads. I would start scaling what's working, really understand which campaigns are performing and which ones are not, and triage the ones that are not. Get rid of those. Track every lead. You need to make sure you're tracking your leads. If you don't understand lead attribution, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video for you there. Lead attribution is critical. Otherwise, you're going, hey, we're doing great. Well, you might be doing great with one channel and you're spending money in four different areas. So, why spend money in four different areas? Well, you won't know that if you don't have really strong lead attribution. Is the phone call coming from your Google business page, your Facebook ads, your Facebook post? Is it coming from referrals, repeats, Google ads, LSAs? The list goes on and on. So it could be door hangers, could be yard signs. Make sure you know where the leads are coming from. So, what is your 90-day action plan? Well, here's what I think it should be daily, every single day. You should be asking for reviews, you should be following up on leads, and you should post content daily. Every week, you should be uploading new photos, nurturing partnerships, and posting to your Google business page. Actually, I would challenge this, even though I wrote this. I actually think if you, this is a minimum. Let's say that this should be your default. But if you really want to grow quickly, you really should be posting daily over here. I would move this over here to the daily category. So it just depends on your personal goals, but I would say post daily to your Google business profile. And then every month, make sure you are reviewing the lead sources, you're doubling down on the winners, and you're optimizing and repeating. Okay. So your first 100 customers do not come from luck. They come from a system that you run every day. Free leads, relationships, reviews, paid leads. If you want the complete system, by the way, everything that I wish I had day one is what I've created. So our playbook contains all these things: your startup guide, your ops manual, your employee handbook, your pricing templates, SOPs and checklists, and growth strategies. By the way, that ops manual is basically going to be your junk removal Bible. If you get abducted by aliens, you could hand this over. Well, you'd be gone, but whoever your right hand man or woman is could take that ops manual and keep running your business without missing a beat. So this is worth its weight in gold. The complete system is amazing. The playbook has everything, or you can buy just one item. If you just need the employee handbook or just need the ops manual, you can do that by visiting here, junkrader.com/playbook. Again, junkrader.com/playbook. Guys, I hope you got something good out of it. If you want me to talk about something specific, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you next time.